Let's go. Let's go. I wish that fade was just a little longer. That's something I was looking into for a little bit, but I just never figured it out because there's so much going on, and I'll fill you in on some stuff that's about to happen. Ugh. Oh boy. Ugh. Anyways, before we begin, as always, check out wilddinosaur.com. That is my website. I have all my music, links to my music videos, other artistic endeavors up there. Excuse me, I just chugged a bubbly water. So I'm extra burpy right now. And I'm still woof. Still coming down from this. This isn't normal. This is just a tickle in my throat. I'm sorry. My apologies. wilddinosaur.com. It's the best place to check out all my artistic stuff. And I have 2 stores there, actually. There's an NFT shop that I have there, which nobody really cares about NFTs, but I made them like a year and a half ago. But my other shop has merch. This is one of the tote bags. Nice canvas tote bag with the nice straps. They got different color straps you can get. There's yellow, red, and black. So, you can check it out on each design, see which one looks best. I have a couple more coming. They haven't shipped yet because they're still printing, but I have another shirt that's coming because I wanted to try a different color and a new design. So, see the camera shake? Sorry, I got to stop doing that. I like to put my feet up on my desk or like hit the back side of my desk, and the camera is attached to the desk, so it bounces when I do that. So I'll try to be more mindful of that. But yeah, wilddinosaur.com. It's the best place to support this channel. I would like to be making art and streaming my thing in life, my career choice, my life goals. So the more people that buy stuff, the more it really helps me out, and I really appreciate it. And I like having people here that like to hear my opinions and share my artistic visions. So anywho, welcome back. It's Monday. It's Monday. That's August 8th. And you know what? This is episode 26. I've done 26 of these episodes so far. I think I need to go back and check, but I think it's more than I ever did on my for my podcast. I'm actually gonna look. I did a lot of content for that channel, but a lot of it was like clip outs. Let me look. I'm gonna look real quick. At my old YouTube channel, Virtual Crate content. How much? Oh, there's quite a bit, I guess. I don't know how many of these are full episodes, and most of these are clips. These are all clips. No. When did the full episodes start happening? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're like 7 episodes. Is that right? Dang, I didn't do very many of those. I did put a lot of work into them, but a lot of it was editing and doing stuff on the back end. Clip outs it's a nice thing to do, but it's kind of annoying when you're doing all of it by yourself, and having to schedule and stuff like that. Schedule when to post things. I didn't get a lot of views on these. It's about average for what I'm getting now, but I didn't do that many episodes, and I've done 26 of Jon Does. That's crazy. I'll be at 50 in no time, and 100. Hopefully by then I'll have grown the channel a little bit more. Maybe new graphics by then. I don't know. We'll see. So what did I do this weekend? I didn't do anything except for consume media because there was so much to start with. And there's more to come soon, so I didn't I didn't want to fall behind, so I tried to get some stuff out of the way. Where's that notebook? I had some stuff written down on it. I guess it was a notepad. Oh, it's right there. It was hidden. I have a list of stuff that I wanted to start to do. There's a couple of things that I didn't get to. Oh, I gotta cross that off. I guess it's just time to make a new list. There wasn't a ton on this list. I know there's stuff I'm missing. There's stuff that I didn't, that I'm just forgetting about. But I had a list of like 5 or 6 things that I wanted to watch, and I watched 3 of them this weekend. Sorry. We'll talk about breaking news in a second, but yeah, I as you can tell by the title, I watched Prey, and I binged Sandman, the Sandman series on Netflix, and we'll get into that later. The 2 things that I didn't watch that are on my list are Atlanta, the new season of Atlanta, because I know there's another one coming in a couple of weeks. I didn't catch that last season. I've only seen the first 2 seasons. And then one that's been on my list for a while, I just kind of forget about it for some reason, is Reservation Dogs. Taika Waititi co-produced series. So I'll get to those eventually. Oh, and I'm still on my Game of Thrones binge. I have made it to season 8. I think I'm at the beginning of season 8 now, so it's all downhill from here. No, I wanted to catch up with that before House of the Dragon comes out. That's this month, right? I think I've seen that there was a couple of things that have like changed release dates recently. Andor was one of them. House of the Dragon, August 21st. Yeah, okay, so it's still coming. And then She-Hulk, I think, is like the week before, or a couple days before that. I think it's the week before. Oh, wait, no, was that the one that moved too? I think She-Hulk moved. Oh, no, that's still August 18th. Okay, so yeah, that's like next week. Or is that right? No, it's in 10 days. And then, yeah, so we got and then, it must have been the Lord of the Rings series. Rings of Power. Yeah. I think that was supposed to come out on like the 27th or something like that. And now it's September 2nd, which isn't very far, but there's a lot of things coming, and I want to give them their fair shake. So anyways, so when I was traveling, was that last week, the week before? I'm liking a text message from Ryan right now. Thanks. Because he let me know that the FBI was at Mar-a-Lago, which is breaking news. Actually, it's just coming out, so it's interesting time in our country's history right now. A lot of weird stuff going on. But that's big news, and I'll probably talk about it at some point. I'm not opposed to talking about some of the stuff. I'm just not, I don't know. I'm a dummy. I'm a dumb guy. You know what I mean? I can have opinions about the state of the country, but I'm not like a political scientist or anything like that. Anyways, when I was visiting Ryan, one of the things that we started watching when I was there was the first 2 episodes of the ILM documentary, the Industrial Light and Magic documentary series on Disney Plus. There's 6 episodes, and I really liked it when I watched it with Ryan. And then I finished it this morning. Actually, I finished episode 6 this morning, and it's really good. It was really enlightening. I have my opinions on George Lucas as a director, and some of the things you hear about, like oh, the walkers came from him sitting or staring out of his office window and seeing the cranes in Oakland Harbor, which is probably true. But you also bypass the whole part of like, yeah, there was also a crew of people that were designing these things. Sure, the design might have been a specific one that resembles, but like to say, oh, the walkers come from from George Lucas really disregards a lot of the people that actually designed them and the final product that we got and all the beautiful stop motion that we got in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And so I was really inspired by this series as a whole. It's made me think about my process a little bit. And one of my complaints about how I go about things and the workflow in video production that I've been a part of in news and for my own stuff is been the Adobe suite. And I'm not here to totally shit on the Adobe softwares because they're solid. They're really good. Intuitive tools to use for creators. I have a problem with the subscription element of it. I haven't been able to get a student discount. I'm a normal person paying a normal price for the Adobe suite, and it's $600 a month. No, sorry, not a month. That's I misspoke there. Sorry. It's actually I think $500 for the year. It's expensive, but you do get a lot of stuff. And I find myself, it's been years. I've paid for the Adobe suite for a handful of years now. And it is great. I do find there's too much of it. And I keep thinking like, oh, I'll do animations and then spend a handful of hours trying to figure out how to use Character Animator or something like that, which again, I'm not trying to say they're bad softwares. They're not. You get a lot of value out of them. And you can do a plan of like one or two apps. Like if you don't want the whole suite, you can just do like Premiere or Photoshop or After Effects or something like that, and it's like $20 a month, which sounds good, but the way I would do it is I would need Photoshop, Premiere, and maybe After Effects. And once you get into those three, you're already like, well, I might as well just pay for the whole suite, you know? So I do have a problem with the subscription aspect of it. It gets really annoying. One of the other things is when I bought one of my cameras, I bought a Blackmagic camera last year, and it comes with the full version of DaVinci Resolve. And I want to learn DaVinci Resolve. I'm just kind of intimidated by it's a node based way of editing, which I'm not used to. I've basically only used a timeline in this kind of linear editing format, and I do like the intuitiveness of the Adobe stuff, and I'm a little scared of the DaVinci stuff, but I don't have to pay for DaVinci. Like there's no updates for it, or if there are, they're probably free because DaVinci tends to do that. But Adobe, you know, almost every time I open one of the programs, there's always a verification, and it's been 2 weeks since you opened Photoshop, we're gonna have to re-verify, and it just takes forever to open the software, and I'm like, come on, you're wasting my time here. And they do like random updates and stuff that gets annoying. I understand the process or the reasons why it is, but it just becomes a hindrance in my workflow. and so I don't want to deal with that. So an idea that I'd had was to get rid of everything and just relearn how to edit with DaVinci, which I think I'm still gonna do. But the things that excited me about the Adobe suite when I first started doing them was the idea of creating worlds, which I do in Photoshop a lot better than I do in video production. Like I'm not using After Effects very much to like build stuff. And as a matter of fact, I'm not that great with After Effects. I can use it. But for me, it's mostly been working backwards from templates, from like projects that were already built in After Effects. So I just never got good with, developing so much stuff within After Effects. But as I've been paying attention to the industry a little bit more, I started to get interested in the Unreal Engine. And so my thought now is to start learning the Unreal Engine and maybe create worlds and sets and things there, and maybe just shoot green screen stuff or whatever. I don't know. I'm looking to change, and begrudgingly willing to relearn a whole process to be able to create in a new way that isn't hindered by my tools. Adobe can be really frustrating at times to even get something open, or I don't want to sit here and list off all the issues that I've had in the past again. The financial element's probably the biggest one ultimately, but it does get a little annoying when you constantly have to upgrade things or whatever, just to use the thing. And there's also an element that I dislike about having to be my own IT person all the time, because I am kind of dumb. And I mean, I had friends growing up. Jason, who might be watching the show, growing up, was rebuilding or building computers when we were in like 6th, 7th grade, and I'm just picking my nose, like, oh, what's that? It's a computer? Oh, you can download weird videos and music? Oh, okay. We weren't really into the downloading music quite yet. That was another year or so off, I think. But yeah, my friends were a little smarter than I was with the tech stuff, and I still feel that way because I don't know. Yeah, my brain just works in certain ways that math, numbers is a language that I have struggled with my whole life, and computer science is not far off from that. So it just, I was actually worried because to use Unreal Engine, I had to download another thing. Was it called Xcode? And I have to open that. Anyways, it was still downloading when I started live streaming because it took a lot longer than I expected. So I was hoping it wasn't going to give me a restart my computer thing while I was live streaming, which didn't happen. So I'll experiment with that a little bit. But I did download Unreal Engine, and I'm trying to get it set up so I can start learning how to build stuff in there. It is for video games is how they market it, but when I did one of my classes for school was about post-production, and that was an idea that came up. So there was a demo of oh my god, sorry, it's just loud stuff going on. There was a demo in one of my classes where somebody was using Unreal Engine for their set background, and I thought that was really cool. And kind of, I figured it might be like an affordable way to create more worlds for the kind of stuff that I like I definitely have a Western, more historical fiction thing that I'm working on, but for the most part, I like sci-fi, fantasy, and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, the ILM documentary. Sorry, this was a long way around. Really inspired me when I finished that. It really inspired me to download that. There's a ton of just amazing artists that worked for ILM or work for ILM. Currently, the founding members, I guess. There's some really talented people, and some of their craft has gone digital, and they touch on that in the documentary. But it's less about the tool for me, and more about the idea of being able to create in the best way possible. And so that was one of the reasons that it really really stuck out to me. Oh wow, I forgot I had this graphic. Yeah, this is the poster for the ILM Light and Magic documentary on Disney Plus. Yeah, I do feel inspired again. I've been a little bit not disheartened or anything about oh my gosh, sorry, there's some loud noises going on. I don't know if you can hear them, but it's distracting. What was I saying? Oh, it's been disheartening for me in some elements. It's not school, I've always heard like, well, like 50 or 40, 50. Nah, I don't remember the statistic that people always tout, but you go to school for something thinking you like something, and then you get to school and you realize, oh, I don't want to be in this industry. School's not doing that for me, but there is an element of the film industry that really is not a game I care to play so much. Part of it is my anxiety and my people skills, my peopling. There's a big part of being super social, and the networking thing is absolutely true. And just pitching. I'm a terrible salesperson. I can pitch something I'm really excited about, but that's something that just the idea of having to pitch something to other people with money, with large budgets, that really it's really hard for me to imagine spending half of my time doing. Not to say I couldn't learn. I just I don't know. It's also hard that I haven't found, and I hope any of my friends listening to this aren't taking any of this personally, but I haven't really found the community of people to make the things that I'm trying to make, and that's partly because some of the friends that I have and hang out with aren't always trying to make or create like I do. I mean, some of my friends aren't musicians, so we don't play music. Some of my friends don't do video. Oh, actually, most of my friends are more musician in that. If they're artists, they're probably more musicians than anything. I do have friends and acquaintances in the film industry too that do stuff, but I just the ILM documentary made me really jealous, because it was a rad community of creative people trying to make cool stuff, and I just haven't one, found it, or two, allowed myself to find it. There's definitely some personal things going on here with that, but I really, sorry, this is a long way of saying that out of all the stuff I watched this weekend, this was the most inspirational because of who they are, the stuff that they've made. I mean, this doesn't just focus on Star Wars. Star Wars is a big part of it because of that's where it started. ILM started with the first Star Wars, essentially, and evolved into more. And you see some of the talk of the work they had to do through the original trilogy, and then once it got to the prequels, I guess, they talk about the switch to digital. But they also talk about other stuff they've worked on. They mention Goonies at one point. They talk heavily on about Jurassic Park and just it's not a Star Wars documentary. It's a ILM documentary and the ebbs and flows that they had, and the routes that they've gone and the people they've worked with and the stuff they made. They talk about Terminator, The Abyss, all kinds of movies that they worked on. It's really good. I highly recommend it if you are creative. I think if you're creative or you're just interested in how movies are made, I think it's a really good one to check out. Just as a quick side note, there was another documentary that I had to watch for my sound class that I took last quarter. It's called Making Waves, and it's about how sound is done in movies. It was a really interesting one. It's really good. And get into the history of Foley artists, which, if you're not familiar with Foley artists, are the people that make sound effects, in-house sound effects. So I remember going to the movies and they would have a quick thing about like a commercial or behind the scenes thing before the movie started. I remember seeing one where it was like a guy and he had a bunch of shoes on his hands and he's making like the footstep noises for somebody in this film. So those are Foley artists. Yeah, and they get into the excuse me. They get into all of that. So that's a good one. Making Waves that's the recommendation on that one. Oh crud! I forgot to switch out. Maybe I didn't. I'm gonna play a commercial break, and we might get a repeat on last week's Dark John. I don't remember. That was the one thing I think I forgot to switch out. So I'm gonna do a commercial break, and I'll come back and we'll talk about the main topics, The Prey and the Sandman on Netflix. So I'll see you guys in a second. Don't cling to a mistake just because you spent a lot of time making it.
I'm Richard from Richard's Pet Wedding Facilities, and I give these stickers away at every pet wedding. The kids love them too. This bag from, what's his name? Wild Dinosaur? Weren't they all wild? What an oxymoron. Anyways, I like to put my special things in this bag. Plus, I'm pretty sure this is my spirit animal.
Life gave me lemons, so I sold them for this sweet baseball tee. All right, we're back. This camera, every time it like puts itself in like low power mode, it changes the shot. I'm sure you guys have seen it, but now I look like I'm sunk. So, ouch. I'm going to sit on my foot so it's like a booster chair. So yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone who's here really wants spoilers for everything. But you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to talk about what I liked. Sandman is one of those projects where Netflix drops full seasons mostly. Sandman, they dropped the full season and it just came out on Friday, so I don't expect everyone's has had time to binge all of it, so I'm not really gonna do oh my gosh, I'm sorry. There's just annoying noise going on. I forgot what I was saying. I'm sorry. Hold on. Sorry. I was asked to put a recording sign up on my door just to know that I'm doing stuff, and it seems to not ever be acknowledged when it's happening. So oh, what's up, Pat? Halfway through 3.5 episodes. Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna do Prey first just because I think I have a little bit more to talk about with Sandman. So yeah, Prey came out. It's this one. It's on Hulu, and this is a prequel to Predator. Derby Gaming, what's up? Hey, Smexy Dino Man. Oh man, I've missed you. Come back and visit more often. Yeah, I was just talking about Prey. Just watched that this weekend. Yeah, so it's on Hulu. It's a prequel to Predator. It takes place like 300 years ago. And yeah, it's freaking awesome. I enjoyed it. I'd heard great things about it. It had gotten like a standing ovation at Comic-Con. I just got finished watching Zero Dark 30. I watched that a long time ago. And I didn't really care for it much. That and The Hurt Locker. I don't know. I would say it's military propaganda stuff, but I loved Top Gun too. So, no, I don't know. I maybe I need to revisit that Zero Dark 30 because what's her name? What's her name did that one? I must said Jessica Chastain. Yeah, no, she didn't direct that. That was is it Catherine Bigelow? Yeah, it was Catherine Bigelow. You know. You know what? I think I might have just been mixing it up with Hurt Locker. Yeah. I might need to rewatch Zero Dark 30. Hurt Locker was the one that I didn't care for very much. But so yeah. Anyways, I liked Prey quite a bit. I thought just a quick breakdown of it is it's this girl, she's a Comanche, and she basically doesn't like the fact that women get certain tasks and men get certain tasks, so she wants to be a hunter. And then guess what? This alien comes down from outer space, and she becomes the hunted, and then the hunter. Okay. If it's just on Netflix, then I'll check it out. The other thing on Netflix that I just saw was I never saw the Uncharted movie, which I've actually never played the game. I just got a dual pack for PS5 that I'll play one of these days. But yeah, I was gonna watch the Uncharted film too. Just some dumb fun. I don't know. But yeah, Prey was really good. I feel like there's not much to spoil. There's just like the story, and it's either like, well, it's gonna end up one way or another. I won't spoil that for sure. Hello, Prey, talk about propaganda. Sheesh. Well, I mean, it's Comanche propaganda. I mean, they probably deserve it though. what was I gonna say? Oh, the thing that the biggest complaint that I have about it is its budget is a TV movie budget, basically, and some of the CG is just okay. Like you can tell some of the stuff is very CG at times, but it's so quick that nothing there's no like shot that lingers on like bad CG really. And again, the movie was so entertaining, the bad CG didn't really bother me. So yeah, it was the first thing I watched. I think it was Friday night. I watched it and was just like super into it. I was invested the whole time. And the cast is great. It's all native cast. Not all. There's a couple of like white people. Well, French fur traders. So you're telling me Prey is the last Jedi for the Predator franchise? That's a longer conversation. The Last Jedi is part good and part garbage in my opinion. I think Prey is great. Propaganda wise, there's no propaganda. I was just messing around. I think it's just a badass Predator movie. Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to hear if anyone else has seen it. Man, I feel like if I do an in-depth conversation on The Last Jedi, I'm gonna get like burned at the stake. I don't love that movie and I don't hate that movie. To me, the new trilogy, this is a quick little aside for the Star Wars stuff. They all work together. How am I trying to put this? Episode 7 worked by itself because it was kind of bringing us back after a while. 7 and 8 needed each other to work, and 8 and 9, not 7 and 8. 8 and 9 needed each other to work together, and they didn't at all. I thought there was some stuff in Last Jedi that was good, but I think as a whole, it didn't do. It needed the Rise of Skywalker to justify some things, and Rise of Skywalker was just like, just kidding. Well, we read Reddit. 7 worked, 8 was ass, 9 tried to save the trilogy but failed. 9 to me felt like it was. Have you ever? I always bring this up to some of my friends. Do you remember in the earlier days of like YouTube, there was a guy named Ask a Ninja? Dude was hilarious, and every once in a while he did movie reviews, and he did one for Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3. And I remember specifically in one of them, he talks about how the movie felt like they threw a bunch of scripts into a cannon and shot the cannon out and then sent a PA to just go pick out sentences, and then they pieced it together. That's what Rise of Skywalker felt like to me, only it wasn't scripts, it was just like Reddit pages of like Star Wars fan theories. That's what 9 felt like to me. I do like Rise of Skywalker on a visual entertaining. It's a dumb fun movie if you just pretend it's a dumb fun movie, but if you acknowledge it as a Star Wars movie, it's like, oh, what are we doing here? But you know, Star Wars is pizza. There's good pizza, there's bad pizza, but you know what? I'll eat all the pizza. I'll eat Domino's, and I'll eat some high-end pizza, some some really expensive nice pizza from a good sit down. 9 was okay. It was just story points that don't work for me. But anyways, it's enough of Prey, because we were totally talking about Prey. Oh, what's up, Brett? Sorry, Harvey. Miles likes a pizza. But don't ever tell me that The Last Jedi is Star Wars and was good. or you might not make it home. Hey, that's fair. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in all of the new trilogy to be critical of. I think the throne room scene at the end was great. I thought that visually was great. I think it's one of the. I know there's a debate whether like it's a lightsaber battle or not, because yeah, lightsabers are out, but oh, they're not fighting dudes with lightsabers. Whatever. It is a great scene. High-end pizza, LOL. Well, you know what I mean. You go to a restaurant where they make like a good pizza that's like, you know, expensive with fresh stuff, or you go to Domino's. You know, that's what I'm saying. That's what Star Wars is. You know, you got you know, the Ventura County folks would know Toppers. You got your Toppers, to me, is the original trilogy, and then you've got your Domino's, which is like everything else. Uh-oh, here we go. Thanks, Ryan. Ryan Johnson is the greatest director to helm a Star Wars film. And this is when my channel explodes. Oh, come on. We're just having fun here. No one needs to leave. How about this? We'll move on. See, Ryan wants you to stay, derpy. So I'm also not going to do, like I said earlier, I'm not going to do spoilers for Sandman, just because it's 10 episodes to get through and it dropped on Friday, and I know not everybody has time to you know, binge their lives away. I've had the time to do it, so I did it. I'm not super familiar with all of the source material. I had been recommended Sandman for a long time, and just when it comes to reading stuff, I always have like piles of stuff to catch up with. I have all of my books that I didn't, after I redid my room, all of the books that I have out are stuff that I need to read or reread. Reread is the Saga series is the only one that I need to reread. All of my other books are stuff that I need to read. So I didn't watch, or sorry, I didn't read Sandman, the comics properly. I do know that like they kind of they're kind of in a short story format a bit. Let's see, Derpy says, I fall asleep during the series because he's the Sandman, get it? There are better comics from the UK for you out there. Oh, I'm sure. I've enjoyed Neil Gaiman stuff. I actually liked what was the one on Amazon they did with the angel and the demon, the Neil Gaiman story? I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting the name of that one. I enjoyed that one. Actually, I really like Stardust, which I think he did the screenplay on. It's like a modern day Princess Bride, that I really like. Daredevil, Charlie Cox is in it, and a bunch of people. If you haven't seen Stardust, that one's really good. It really does. It feels like one of those timeless romantic fantasy films, like The Princess Bride. So I had a little bit of a hard time getting into the Good Omens. Thanks, Pat. Thanks. That was the one. Good Omens. Yeah, so I had a little bit of a hard time keeping focus for the first like 2 episodes, and I don't think that was the show. I think it was me. But once I started to get into it, I really liked it. I think I heard somebody complaining right before I'd started I wanted to see what kind of complaints people had. And the only thing I'd heard was that the coloring was bad. Somebody, who was it? Robert Meyer Burnett, I'd heard talking about it. He said he'd watched it on 3 different monitors, and the blacks were just super duper crushed, and it was hard to see. And I just didn't have that issue at all. I didn't think there was bad color correction at all. The poster that we have up here kind of has. There is a color grading in movies that bothers me, and that is like the early 2000s horror films where everything's like blue gray. I really don't like that, like, color grading. It does nothing for me, and it more than anything, it just bugs me. I would rather watch highly saturated film than like the blue gray. Again, the like The Ring, stuff like that, where it's, I don't know, like you can picture like, oh, there's a scene in a hospital and all the whites are just like grayish blue, you know, like I really don't like looking at that. It's not pleasing to me, even for, and I understand like, oh, well, the color reflects the tone. Like, I don't care. It makes me not want to watch it. Okay, people were talking about skewed aspect ratio. There was a couple of moments where I thought it looked weird too with the aspect ratio, but also I thought at most points it worked pretty well. Yeah, there was 1 or 2 scenes where I'm like, am I seeing this correctly? Yeah, I don't know. I think some of the complaints that people have, well, all the complaints I've heard are all technical so far. So I'm not sure what a lot of people are saying adaptation-wise, because I'm not the best person to say, well, this is better than the comic or whatever, because you know what? I actually don't care what's better. I want it all. Give me the good and the bad, because that's why we're here. I do think could have stolen Dave McKean's palette. Huh. Forgive me, Ryan. I'm not. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So he was one of the artists on Sandman. Yeah, I think they did a decent job of. I'm not saying that the show looks like that art, but there are a couple of shots with Morpheus, like in the beginning, that look kind of like the art from it. Let's see what you say. He had some nice colors for the covers. Striking. Yeah, I think there's some really good visual elements to the show. For a show that it's Netflix, so I mean, you know, they put a decent budget into it. It looks great, even though you can tell a lot of it was shot on, you know, like sound stages with green screen and whatnot. I think it still looked good. I didn't have a problem with the you know, the crushed coloring or anything like that. And there's enough flow to the story that the coloring changes. I mean, I was complaining about the early 2000s horror color palette. They do it slightly, but they don't stay there either. Let's see. The story starts to pick up into a more of a narrative. I mean, they start you off with like what is going on and why Morpheus is where he is. But then it starts to move into I guess it's another. I think the show covers a couple of story, like 1 or 2, maybe 3 different comic story arcs. I'm not familiar enough with all of the source material to tell you exactly which stories. But I did get more invested there towards the mid to end point, I think. there's a character named Rose who's looking for her brother. That storyline was good. I thought once they start getting more into that storyline, it becomes more straightforward, I would say. I think. And there was a guy that pops up at some point. I won't say too much other than he's a serial killer. He's a heavy-set guy, and I kept thinking, like, I know this guy from somewhere. And he was on a show called Wasted. It was a BBC comedy that I liked, where this nerdy dude worked at a pub, and his best friend, who is like a DJ who like moved out of town to become a DJ, moved back to their small little village, and they just like drink, do drugs, and are silly. And I think Gilly from Game of Thrones is in it. Is that right? No, she was on Skins. No, I think it was somebody else. Yeah, it's somebody else who's in it. But yeah, he was one of the main leads. The other thing that's great about Wasted is the main character, this guy that I'm talking about. I think he actually calls himself Morpheus in the show. He is in love with Game of Thrones, and he has these moments where he's got a spiritual guide, and it's actually Sean Bean dressed in like a low budget, like Ned Stark costume. It's really funny, and it's actually Sean Bean. So like, it's great. It's great. It didn't last long. I think it was only on for 2 seasons, or as the British call it, series, which to me doesn't make sense. A series is a whole. Season is an annual thing. Anyways, we can have that conversation later. People can yell at me. I don't care. Who do the British think they are with their language? Anyways. The other things about Sandman that I thought were good are the casting. I thought was great. I'm not familiar with too many people. If you can see the poster up at the top there, that's Lucifer, and that's played by Gwendolyn Christie, who was in Game of Thrones. She was Brienne of Tarth, and she's not in the show very much, but she was great in it. And her and Charles Dance, who was Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones. I know this stuff off the top of my head, not because I'm a fan, but because I was rewatching. And then if you can see, there's this raven on Morpheus's shoulder in the on the poster, and the crow is voiced by Patton Oswalt. That might be, so he's probably the most well-known in the whole show, actor, and I think, again, I'm not attached to source material, so I couldn't tell you what the personality should be, but I did feel like Patton Oswalt might have been a missed cast for a voice, even though it's just a voiceover. I maybe would have, I don't know. I might have liked somebody else or a different voice, like tonally, than Patton Oswalt's as for this character. But ultimately, the casting is great. I did appreciate the fact that most of the people in the show are not as known as other. The other person that I know or had seen in some stuff is on the bottom right here of the poster. There's this character with glasses on. That is the Corinthian, and he's played by Boyd Holbrook, who I didn't know of until Logan came out, the Wolverine film Logan, and he plays one of the main villains in Logan. I forget who he was. I'm gonna pull that up real quick because I'm curious. Nope, that's not what I want. That was 2017. Man, it seems so long ago now. Boyd Holbrook is... Where is he? Oh, Pierce. He played Pierce. There's a... I forget what character that is. I like X-Men, but I never was like the deepest nerd when it came to knowing who the X-Men were, because it's a huge group. Anyways, so yeah, Sandman was really good. I ended up binging the whole thing. I mean, I did fall asleep at one point, but when I woke up, I basically finished the series. It left me in a place where I wanted to see more, and it also made me think about Netflix and their intellectual properties that they own. They did do the not Jupiter Ascending. Oh my gosh, Jupiter's Legacy. They did Jupiter's Legacy, and that wasn't very good. I liked elements of it. They did like this whole 1920s thing that was kind of like a archaeological adventure, and that part I enjoyed, but the rest of it I didn't think was very good. It got canceled pretty quick. And they own the Mark Millar catalog universe, so I'm interested to see what they'll do with any of that other stuff. But I do think Netflix has done some of their comic book stuff well. I mean, I think some of their comic stuff that they have now is better than like CW was doing with DC for a while. I mean, they had a ton of stuff. They did the Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, all that stuff. And Netflix only has a couple of big comic book shows that they did. Umbrella Academy, I really like Umbrella Academy, and I think that Sandman is on par with Umbrella Academy. Different tones and whatnot, but I do feel like they have a same kind of a quality to them, and they both make me want to come back for more. So, yeah, the casting's really good. See what else is there. What else is there to talk about Sandman without spoiling stuff? It's not for kids, really. There are kids involved, but I don't know. Let's say if Brett, if you're still listening, I wouldn't necessarily have Miles watching this one until he's a little older. But yeah, what's the rating on this? Sandman Netflix rating. Oh, no, it's just giving me reviews. I think it's like a TV MA, though. Yeah, TV mature. So that's like rated R when it comes to TV. There's some nudity, and yeah, I guess there's some gore and violence too. So yeah, maybe not so much for the kids, but good adult show. Anyways, I think Pat's the only one that said he's watched it or watched some of it. But I have seen a number of the comics and the covers and some of the artwork, and I think they do a good job with the imagery of being true to some of that. Man, I feel like I just keep slipping down and I can't keep adjusting the camera, so you gotta keep bouncing up and down. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about Sandman other than I'm looking forward to season 2, if they get a season 2. Nothing's confirmed yet. And yeah, I know there was casting that some people didn't like. They've gender swapped or race swapped characters, and honestly, I don't care. I don't care about any of that. You can swap out whoever you want with whatever you want, as long as it makes sense to the story. Said it before, I'll say it again. You can make Superman black. Doesn't matter. That's not a core characteristic of his of Superman. His race. it's basically just where he lives. You know, in some comics he's Russian, or Red Sun. He was raised Russian, and all the rest he's an American boy. That doesn't mean he couldn't be black or Latino or Asian. That's fine. I mean, he's an alien, for God's sakes. Black Panther, though, now that's a character. The core value of that character is they are an African king. So to, let's say, make a Black Panther movie with like Justin Bieber or we'll use an actual actor, let's say, I don't know, who would be another Brad Pitt, Leo DiCaprio, any of that wouldn't make sense. They would not make sense in that role. So that's my take on race and gender swapping. It doesn't matter unless it affects the core characteristic of who that character is. And yeah, so I don't know if they changed much from the comics for Sandman, but I liked it. I know there was I guess Lucifer, Gwendolyn Christie is was a male in the comics, I think, but I don't know. She's a great actress, and I liked what she did with the character, so let's do more. Maybe we'll get a Lucifer reboot. Lucifer, I think Netflix has those rights, because if I'm remembering correctly, the Lucifer show that was on CW, I think it was on CW, played by a male character, I think those are on Netflix, and I think they have the rights to that. So if you don't know, that Lucifer show is a spinoff from Sandman. So I wonder if we get, a reboot or a retelling in this new universe. That might be interesting. I'd consider watching that. I didn't watch the other Lucifer. No, one of my classmates was in Lucifer. Was in I think a later season of Lucifer. And I've heard good things. I remember it got like canceled and then it came back and people were excited about that. So, what else? I think that's it for me today, guys. I think the most influential thing that I watched this weekend was the ILM documentary about industrial light and magic. It legitimately is making me reconsider how I make my own films. Yeah, it was quite inspirational. It's not for everybody. It was one of those like nerdy movies about the history of the special effects, and again, you do get a lot of Star Wars, but it really hit me in a good spot, and it's made me a little bit more what am I trying to say? It's inspired me a little bit more to. I had to dip a little bit when it came to making films, and it just makes me want to jump back on that train. So I'll be doing that. And I got school to finish too. I'm doing a director's certificate, so I wouldn't stop making movies now. Not like I've made movies, but I am working on a short film that I will probably be putting some money into. But anyways, what did you guys watch this weekend? Did you guys watch anything that I watched? Did you watch Prey, the Predator prequel? Did you check out Sandman or the ILM documentary? There's some other stuff. Yeah, like I said earlier, the two shows that I want to catch up on. Well, I'm going to finish Game of Thrones for my rewatch before the House of the Dragon. I'll talk about that sometime, maybe this week. Maybe we'll get Dusty on, see what he's got to say. I need to catch up on Atlanta, and I wanted to check out Reservation Dogs as well, because I haven't seen that, and I know it got renewed for another season. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for joining me today. I had a lot of comments. A lot of different people came through. It was great. Yeah, super appreciate you guys being here. I'm gonna go balance my endocannabinoid system, and I'm gonna eat something, and I'm gonna try to troubleshoot some Unreal Engine stuff. For anybody who missed the beginning of the show, the ILM documentary inspired me to download Unreal Engine, which is a place to design like video games and things like that. And I plan on creating some worlds and then shooting some green screen stuff and superimposing those worlds together. So I'm gonna try to figure that out. I'm gonna be doing that. That'll be a work in progress for a while. I probably won't have anything made for a while. And I'm also trying to figure out my move away from Adobe. All right. Well, thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to check out wilddinosaur.com. There's a bunch of stuff there. There is links to all my music videos, all the streaming stuff. There's my NFT shop. There's also my regular merch shop where you can get t-shirts, tote bags, stuff like that. I'll have some new merch to show off probably in a week or so. And the other thing that I do here at the end of the show is I remind people that I have a link to donate to Planned Parenthood in the description of this, because it's super important. It's a super important cause to me, and definitely 50% of our population in the United States. Planned Parenthood is more than just what is politicized on television. They do healthcare for men and women. Shit, you need some condoms? Let's go to Planned Parenthood and get some free condoms. So anyways, check that out. Or check out wilddinosaur.com. Go donate to Planned Parenthood. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.